Restored Republic via GCR. Judy note, this war we are fighting that pitted good against evil was being fought by the 7 nation kingdoms of the Alliance, the Global White Hat Military Alliance, the Q Team and the BRICS Alliance versus the 13 Illuminati bloodline families, Five Eyes Deep State Alliance. The Cabal Deep State Black Hat Globalists, the Jesuits, 33rd Degree Freemasons, Shriners, Khazarian Mafia, the Zionist bankers and 10 primary shareholders of the Federal Reserve. For a specific definition of who everyone is see #T. Thursday 22nd of February. Illegal immigrants are waiting at the airport day and night to hop on flights to the U.S., according to Border Patrol. TSA even accepts the paperwork they're issued by Biden's DHS as acceptable government identification. On Thursday 22nd of February 45 pedophiles who plan to eat children were arrested. Thursday 22nd of February invading migrants could decimate blue states. Wednesday 21st of February. Edward Snowden, Five Eyes supranational intelligence organization is watching you. Be careful because some things that are termed a conspiracy are true. Thursday 22nd of February. Sukharvath on Telegram, Space Force flexed on Deep State showing they can/will shut phones, radio, media down. Power must remain for EBS, Project Odin, to keep folks calm. Martial law will keep everyone at bay while truths are exposed. On Thursday 22nd of February on Telegram, documents from Homeland Security have been uncovered that said there would be a blackout soon and law enforcement needed to prepare for it. The EBS could happen in the next 2 days. Part 17 The sequel to The Fall of the Cabal, The Era of Depopulation, The Truth Behind Vaccines, Janet S. Bard, Synthicoeder. Thursday 22nd of February was the Thursday 22 blackout of millions of U.S. cell phones a cyber attack, or an EBS test. A strong solar flare hit the U.S. around 2:30 a.m. EST on Thursday 22nd of February and shortly afterwards, things went haywire, phone, internet service, for some. Down Detector reported major U.S. cell operators experiencing sudden network outages across the country. People throughout the U.S. continued to report cell outages from the major suppliers AT&T, Verizon and T-Mobile throughout the day. Musk posts yesterday on X, "This is a test." Comments are turned off under the post. Today reports coming in that in the United States there are cell phone outages over multiple service providers including AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, and US Cellular. 75% network restored. The real reason for the outage. Today's takedown likely a practice run. Thursday 22nd of February cyber attack in India. Chinese hacker group targets major companies. Chinese firm breached foreign governments, infiltrate social media accounts and hack personal computers, a massive data leak analyzed by experts revealed. Massive leak shows Chinese firm hacked foreign govs, activists, analysts. Timeline: On Monday, February 19, 2024 activation of the EBS completed worldwide according to the Official.net website. The website, which was now unavailable, said that President Trump will send out 5 presidential messages. On Tuesday, February 20, 2024 Protocol 20 began expanding the Stellar platform, bringing in more liquidity to the new asset-backed financial system. NDAs were signed by the Reno 12. The new international Iraqi dinar rate came out at $5.20. ATMs were loading the new rainbow currency and then being placed out of service until all machines were loaded. On Wednesday 21st of February. The Reno 12 received their 1% and whales were moving money, transferring from #Binance to unknown wallets. On Thursday 22nd of February that 1% for bondholders was received in Europe. On Friday 23rd of February that 1% for bondholders was received in Asia and the Philippines. NISR including the R&R allowance, was to be released by the end of the month. See Global Currency Reset: Thursday 22nd of February Bruce, on Saturday, Sunday and Monday 27, 28, 29th of February banks were going through a clearing process where the USD will be replaced by the new gold/asset-backed US Treasury note. ATM machines will be down. On Tuesday, 27th of February after 3 p.m. EST we are supposed to receive our notifications to set appointments that begin on Wednesday 28th of February. On Thursday 29th of February the new USD notes will be out. Sometime between 27 February through Thursday 1st of March NISR would be introduced. R&R, Payments were supposed to start a week after the USTN was introduced, or the second week in March 2024. Increases in SS will take place in March 2024. Banks in 7 states were not Basel III compliant, and that had to do with the cell phone outage on Thursday 22nd of February. All banks will be compliant by this weekend or they will not be open for business. Thursday 22nd of February. Wolverine, I have been told by a good source that we may celebrating by as early as Friday 23rd of February. There are some things I cannot tell you. It has started and I am just waiting for a call to release. My personal opinion is that we will get appointments next week. Bondholders need to get paid first and then currency holders. Historical bondholders will go last after the currency holders. Thursday 22nd of February. TNT, the RV date has been set. Thursday 22nd of February. The new Iraqi dinar rate has been flashing on front screens of banks and the rate was rising in value, but the flashing rates showed it was not yet ready to exchange. Thursday 22nd of February. Bombshell. Trump's secret meeting unleashes global shockwave, Wells Fargo adopts dinar, quantum financial system activated, NISA rollout begins, Gazetler. Some of us have been in this for 30 years. A person I know has been in this since the 1960s when she heard about this, more than 50 years ago. It boggles the mind how many years people have waited for this to happen. We can't get any info from Reno, Zurich or other platforms because everyone is under NDA and that is a good sign. No one is talking. I tried to talk to Wales and they are under NDA, and yes, they have been blessed. I think there is not going to be an announcement, I think it is a process. I think people will just get paid, and they will sign an NDA, and then we will know about it. They will probably celebrate with their family and their platform. I do not think we will all celebrate together as we wanted to. I have been told by a good source that we may celebrate by tomorrow. I know people are suffering, about to lose homes, living in cars, severe health issues, like me. I want to let you know that it has started and I am just waiting for a call to release. My personal opinion is that we will get appointments next week. Bondholders need to get paid first and then currency holders. Historical bondholders will go last after the currency holders. ZIM is a currency. Not a bond, even though it is called a bond, it is a ZIM currency. Zimbabwe is a very rich country. ZIM has been classified under Tier 4B, not under bond tier. We have been told that when we go to the redemption center we will get a phone number to contact for appointments on the med beds. That is about it, guys. It has been very stressful for me, guys. I am going to the Gold Coast. I can't go today, due to a glitch in the system, but I will go tomorrow as I have been invited to a summit to be a guest speaker and will be back on Monday. There is nothing more I can tell you. Take care, guys. Wolverine. Bruce, the big call: exchanging currencies is a non-taxable event. Under NISA there will be a complete change in our tax system. There will be no federal income tax. We will go to a consumption tax for new items of around 14% to 15%. That tax will be embedded in the cost of items you buy. Big pharma and insurance companies were taking a big hit in the stock market on Thursday 22nd of February and Friday 23rd of February. Banks were going through a clearing process where the USD will be replaced by the new gold/asset-backed US Treasury note. ATM machines will be down. On Tuesday, we are supposed to receive our notifications to set appointments beginning Wednesday 28th of February. On Thursday 29th of February the new USD notes will be out. Sometime between 27 February through Thursday 1st of March NISA would be introduced. R&R, payments were supposed to start a week after the USTN was introduced, or the second week in March 2024. Increases in SS will take place in March 2024. Banks in 7 states were not Basel III compliant and that had to do with the cell phone outage on Thursday 22nd of February. All banks will be compliant by this weekend or they will not be open for business. Global financial crisis: The world's drowning in debt. New York Post. The Russian ambassador in Baghdad Elbrus Kotrashv has invited Iraq to join BRICS. Wells Fargo in bankruptcy now. Millions of Wells Fargo customers are in line for relief money after the government found the banking giant violated a host of federal consumer laws between 2011 and 2022. Thursday 22nd of February. Tribune Publishing to lay off 200 workers. Middle. Thursday 22nd of February JP Morgan CEO Dimon sells about $150 million of his shares, SEC filing says. Middle. Thursday 22nd of February The deep state is running out of money, Mike Adams. G. Restored Republic: Middle. The Balfour Declaration 1917 has been reversed. Middle. The United States is different than the United States of America. The Constitution of the USA was formed in 1776. The U.S. incorporated United States as a corporation formed in Delaware in 1871. Middle. All citizens are governed under corporate law. All corporations must have a president, vice president, secretary, and treasurer. Hence, USA Incorporated formed in the Act of 1871. A U.S. citizen is an employee of U.S. Incorporated. Middle. Rome once ruled the world. Caesar once ruled from the hill. Washington, D.C., Capitol Hill, the New Rome, as Washington, D.C. is the New Rome or Empire. Take a look at a picture of St. Peter's Basilica in Vatican Square. It looks just like our Capitol building in Washington, D.C. There is also an Egyptian obelisk in front of it, just like the Washington Monument in D.C. Middle. Ulysses S. Grant was President of the United States in 1871 when the corporation was formed. Funny, his first two initials are U.S. Middle. A U.S. citizen is an employee of the United States Corporation, which is a business. The word citizen means employee according to the laws of the United States Corporation. Middle. Washington, D.C. is a foreign corporation, and it is not a state. It's not a part of America and has nothing to do with the 50 states at all. It is where the foreign U.S. corporation is headquartered with its own laws. Middle. Since 1871 the United States President and the United States Congress has been playing politics under a different set of rules and policies. The American people do not know that there are two constitutions in the United States. The first penned by the leaders of the newly independent states of the United States in 1776. On July 4, 1776, the people claimed their independence from Britain and democracy was born. For 95 years the United States people were free and independent. That freedom ended in 1871 when the original Constitution for the United States for America was changed to the Constitution of the United States of America. Middle. The Congress realized that the country was in dire financial straits, so they made a financial deal with the devil, international bankers, in those days, the Rothschild of London, thereby incurring a debt to said bankers. The conniving international bankers were not about to lend the floundering nation any money without some serious stipulations. So, they devised a way of taking back control of the United States and thus, the Act of 1871 was passed. Middle. The Act of 1871 has been reversed. Wars and rumors of wars: Middle. Thursday 22nd of February urgent, CENTCOM, today, an U.S. Navy destroyer in the Red Sea was attacked by 6 drones and 2 ballistic missiles from Yemen. Middle. Thursday 22nd of February NATO false flag action planned. Belarusian President Lukashenko predicts a NATO false flag operation in Poland in order to finally be able to enter World War III. This emerges from information from Western secret services. Thursday 22 February 12th hour newscap, President Trump on Telegram, 1. Trudeau, social media is killing mainstream media. 2. Google's Gemini went so woke it could not create images of anyone white, including the Pope. 3. Modi hates me and had the Indian government ban a post I published about India banning protests. 4. Biden announces $1 billion in student loan forgiveness during Los Angeles visit. 5. The UK Parliament passed a call for an immediate Gaza ceasefire. The US was unable to veto this one. 6. Yevgeny White, Putin gifted Khabib and his father property worth about $20 million in Russia after his victory over McGregor. 7. The U.S. pressures Pakistan to unblock X and other social media platforms. 8. Switzerland moves to ban Hamas, despite opposition from Swiss banks. 9. Boeing fires the Wizard executive responsible for the troubled 737 MAX program amid serious safety flaws. J. Illuminati Deep State Cabal Globalist Agenda: Middle. Thursday 22nd of February Ben Fulford. In 2015 Vladimir Putin concluded that Rothschild were up to no good with their satanic Luciferian agenda. 1. Mind control the people. 2. Decrease the world population. 3. Commit genocide via chemtrails, smart meters, Wi-Fi, mobile networks, etc. So what did Putin do upon concluding that their intentions were not in line with his Russian Orthodox values? He banned each and every one of them from entering, doing business, owning business or land in, or otherwise having anything to do with Russia at all. Satanic New World Order being ushered into mainstream society. The upcoming and now existential Satanic New World Order will more than likely be ushered into mainstream society and culture through two fake avenues. 1. Creation of a one-world government and religion with the United Nations and the Illuminati taking the lead in this grand conspiracy to destroy or infiltrate Christianity. 2. According to the late journalist Serge Mona, NASA is planning on projecting giant 3D holograms of religious figures into the atmosphere to initiate a spiritual apocalypse among world religions. How the Satanic New World Order will try to destroy reality and religion using Project Blue Beam, holographic UFOs, Ellis Washington Report. 2's 20th of February. New Michelle Moore, Are We Being Sold a Narrative in the Truther Community? Connecting more dots for you on the Michelle Moore Show. Thursday 22nd of February. The sudden death of Alexei Navalny has made me more and more aware of what is happening in our country. It is a slow, steady progression, with crooked, radical left politicians, prosecutors and judges leading us down a path to destruction. Open borders, rigged elections, and grossly unfair courtroom decisions are destroying America. We are a nation in decline, a failing nation. MAGA 2024, President Trump. When all is exposed, 98% of Washington will fall. Julian Assange. Stella Assange, Julian's wife and lawyer, sums up the hearing, projects the consequences of winning or losing, and emphasizes that pubic support is the essential ingredient to her husband's freedom. I've been a journalist for 25 years. I was taught to lie, betray and never tell the truth to the public. I was paid by the CIA, secret societies and billionaires. Journalists are used to manipulate the people. Uta Wolf-Kotte, a German journalist and editor of a leading European newspaper who died January 13, 2017 shortly after speaking at a conference on his 2014 bestseller book Journalists for Hire. Wake up, they faked history. Mike Adams. Thursday 22nd of February. It has been confirmed that Pelosi's J6 committee deleted over 100 encrypted files to keep them from Republicans. Thursday 22nd of February. DUMS, Deep Underground Military Bases. Thursday 22nd of February. A 2018 bombshell documentary exposes the U.S. biolabs in Ukraine. The deep state has literally come full circle. They had 51 intelligence experts lie and call Hunter's laptop Russian disinformation. Then they admitted that it was 100% legitimate and not Russian disinformation. Now they're back to Russian disinformation. It's beyond insane. The motto of 33rd Degree Freemasons is called the Hegelian dialectic, or create the problem and provide the solution. The Hegelian dialectic was named after Georg Hegel, the German philosopher, and is also known as thesis antithesis synthesis or ordo ab chao, which is Latin for order from chaos. Judy Note: GOP commissioners launch probe of U.S. banks over ESG. It must be stopped. ESG is an existential threat to American agriculture. Wilton Simpson of Florida. U.S. Air Force Base housing nuclear missiles goes on lockdown over real-world threat. President Ronald Reagan's farewell address to the nation. January 11, 1989. Wednesday 14th of February. BQQQM. The Apocalypse Showdown in Washington, D.C., continuation of government, connect the dots, background military operation, deep state from A to Z and from Z to A. We are facing a national security threat that is very real. President Biden is a dementia patient in charge of our country and the nuclear football, who ripped our border wide open to over 10 million people, and an unknown number of those are in fact terrorists who wanted to kill you. Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. Thursday 15th of February. There was a CIA MK-Ultra mind control program embedded in Obama's Leave the World Behind movie. Wednesday 14th of February. Statistics Ukraine, A Tale of Plunder and Intrigue, written by George Soros, the Clintons, Biden, Obama, Davos, NATO, CIA and the Deep State. Thursday 15th of February. The Globalist Conspiracy, Roseanne, Mel K: 80% of Americans test positive for chemical found in Cheerios that may cause infertility. Thursday 15th of February. Just released sealed documents prove that the CIA killed President John F. Kennedy, with help from the Pentagon and State Department. Middle. A 2023 book titled Stolen Identity by John F. Kennedy Jr. claimed that right after the JFK assassination 5-year-old John F. Kennedy Jr. and his mother Jacqueline Kennedy were put in a witness protection program by CIA operatives. There John Jr. lived a lifetime of torture as he was subjected to the CIA MKUltra mind control program. Middle. Thursday 15th of February Tucker Carlson Live with Mel Gibson uncovered the biggest scandal in American history. Thursday 15th of February Cyber attacks across the globe. Middle. Wednesday 14th of February. Breaking. Cyber warfare escalates, internet blackout strikes Poland and East Germany amidst rising tensions, Russia's warning shot. Middle. Thursday 15th of February Iran's parliament voting disrupted after massive cyber attack. Middle. Thursday 15th of February Australia, thousands of Aussies impacted as online banking services crash. Middle. Thursday 15th of February thousands of Aussies impacted as online banking services crash in major outage. Middle. Thursday 15th of February U.S. conducted cyber attack on Iranian spy ship. Global currency reset. Middle. Thursday 15th of February rumor was that starting on Friday 16th of February Tier 4 paymasters would be on call and must be within a 30 minutes distance to their redemption center. There's a lot of speculation that it could go by 20th of February. Some reporters have often said it would go during a 3-day weekend, which was next weekend's President's Day through Monday 19th of February. Middle. Thursday 15th of February Bruce, a strong source said we were in a 3-day rollout that started today Thursday 15th of February and will go through Saturday 17th of February. Bondholders are about to receive their emails and have access to their funds Friday 16th of February or Saturday 17th of February. Tier 4B should get notification Friday 16th of February and be able to set appointments by Saturday 17th of February. There could be an EBS announcement on President Trump anywhere from Friday 16th of February to Friday 23rd of February. Middle. Thursday 15th of February Goldilocks, liquidity is moving more and more each day from the old financial system to the new digital one. Middle. Thursday 15th of February Texas Snake. Well folks, my banker is hopeful he will be getting the approximate time his staff will be positioned to begin scheduling our exchange appointments, which will also provide the date of when we will or could become liquid. We are close folks. God bless for allowing me to continue to share what I learn. Middle. Thursday 15th of February Richard Stone. A quick bank story. I reached out to a Chase branch in North Florida. The private banker I spoke with was aware of the pending revaluation and was prepared to help me with all of my currencies except the dinar. So they are either not aware or just not talking. Middle. Monies for the global currency reset have been released by the Chinese elders. Intel providers were being leaned on not to disclose information. Rumor was that Trump had signaled a green for go and launched Nizara/Jazara. After the RV, the EBS system and restitution payments should begin. Middle. On Thursday 25th of January the gold-backed US dollar was introduced from the US Treasury in Reno. Middle. On Friday 26th of January all 86 global currency reset platforms were loaded and launched. Middle. By Sunday 28th of January. The new Iraqi dinar rate, which had been released in country on Monday 1st of January, and the new US gold-backed note were both trading on the Forex. Middle. The Federal Reserve says the new dinar international rate is $4.81. Middle. Friday 2nd of February the Iraqi Stock Exchange, ISX, completed their link-up of international platforms. Middle. The Chinese elders released B1 funds into paymaster accounts for Tier 1, different countries' governments, that were now liquid and being paid out. B2 funds for Tiers 2, 3, 4A, groups, were released on Sunday 4th of February. And were liquid on Friday 9th of February. B3 funds for Tier 4B, US, the Internet Group, were released on Wednesday 7th of February. Middle. Some whales, bond people and others in Tiers 1, 2, 3 have been paid and were under NDAs. Middle. 3 whales broke their NDAs and started talking. Their accounts were frozen after 30 years of waiting. Please be careful everyone. Middle. Sunday 4th of February. The Admirals Group was paid. Middle. Saturday 10th of February. BRICS countries were informed of their new currency rates and Tier 4B funds were liquid in paymaster accounts. Middle. Monday 12th of February liquidity began. Middle. Archbishop Vigano on the Great Reset. The World Economic Forum is threatening the heads of government of the 20 most industrialized nations in the world to carry out the Great Reset. It is a global coup d'état, against which it is essential that people rise up. Those who govern nations have all become either enslaved or blackmailed by this international mafia. See Thursday, February 15, 2024. Bruce, the big call: middle. A strong source said we were in a 3-day rollout that started today, Thursday 15th of February, and will go through Saturday 17th of February. Middle. Bond paymasters connections say bondholders are about to receive their emails and have access to their funds. Get 10% for 3 months, Friday 16th of February or Saturday 17th of February. Middle. Tier 4B should get notification Friday 16th of February and be able to set appointments by Saturday 17th of February. Middle. Martial law was active in 24 states. Middle. Can move up to $10.5 billion from your Quantum account to your regular account. That regular account will accrue interest. Middle. There could be an EBS announcement on President Trump anywhere from Friday 16th of February to Friday 23rd of February. Global financial crisis: middle. Thursday 15th of February, Jeff Bezos sells another $2 billion worth of Amazon stock with a total of $6 billion AMZN shares sold over the last week. Middle. Thursday 15th of February, Bitcoin crash: think about it. They were desperately attempting to launder money back to themselves and stealing billions from unsuspecting investors who climbed back on #BTC train after the shorts got wiped out this week. Thinking they're gonna make up at least some of the money, their Fed isn't printing anymore. Last gasps, and the USC puts a flag on the capital. Middle. The ignorance of the so-called investors on Wall Street. Inflation is still rampant. That has never changed. Yet in less than 24 hours the cabal has hypnotized those that have accepted this to be the norm. Eyes on the yen. Middle. European banks $15 trillion commercial property headache: the UK falling into recession was expected. But consider for a moment the FX risks at play here from the lack of a Fed rate cut. Europe will suffer most immediately, and American inflation would potentially devastate a host of G7 economies. Japan's economy is in recession, as are the other 5 of the 7 heads, then the rest. Middle. The cabal US dollar is being propped up against all currencies on the world market, devaluating their own in the process. Japan is in a recession. Dropped from 3rd largest economy to 4th behind Germany. As we know, the USA Incorporated is manipulating the Dow Jones and its currency with little liquidity. Watching for the first domino to fall from the east. Countries will move away from the dead petrodollar and collapse it and save their own economies moving into the new system. All aboard. Middle. Thursday 15th of February, Egypt officially ditches US dollar for BRICS trade: middle. Thursday 15th of February, Japan loses crown as world's 3rd largest economy after it slips into recession. Middle. Thursday, February 15, 2024, reporter Tucker Carlson went grocery shopping in Russia to compare the cost of groceries there to America. $400 in US groceries cost only about $100 there. This is the fault of corrupt leaders in America. Tucker said because of this he is radicalized against the corrupt leaders in America. This has to stop. Middle. BRICS analyst predicts US dollar crash similar to Roman Empire's end. Middle. Thursday 15th of February, the Dow takes a massive hit today, down 700 points, almost a 2% drop. Its worst day in a year. Ears toward Republic: middle. Chess, make no mistake. They lost and they know it. In chess both parties know when the last moves are made before checkmate. The loser has one option: stall the game. This lasts only moments before the end game. Truth: the military doesn't need the election audit results. They have everything. It's all optics for red-pilling the masses. White hats working hard behind the scene to expose everything. From Fauci to Gates to election results and bringing to the MSM tribunals against all the leaders in the 3 branches of the government system that helped foreign adversaries to capture the U.S. governor system and brought the coup against a sitting President Donald J. Trump. Middle. There is a slow burn, full-bore internal coup happening within the ranks of the IDF, Mossad. These people are stratospheric in their panic right now. They know the full might of a worldwide military alliance has targeted them for elimination. The narrative is lost. Control of information is lost. They are being forced to stand and fight. They will lose. And they know it. Defections are part of any espionage special ops war. Amazing things are happening. 2024 is starting off fast. Q. F. Our corrupt CIA. Middle. Thursday 15th of February, just released sealed documents prove that the CIA. Middle. Wednesday 14th of February. CIA threat list. Names 8 million Americans who will be detained or executed when martial law is imposed. There was a CIA MKUltra mind control program embedded in Obama's Leave the World Behind movie. A 2023 book titled Stolen Identity by John F. Kennedy Jr. claimed that right after the JFK assassination, 5-year-old John F. Kennedy Jr. and his mother Jacqueline Kennedy were put in a witness protection program by CIA operatives. There John Jr. lived a lifetime of torture as he was subjected to the CIA MKUltra mind control program. Evidence emerges claiming CIA masterminded entire Russian collusion hoax leveraged against President Trump. CIA and foreign intelligence agencies illegally targeted 26 Trump associates before 2016 Russia collusion claims, report. Thursday 15th of February JP Morgan Chase drops out of Climate Alliance. Thursday 15th of February Spain, Spanish farmers have taken over the city of Leon protesting against socialism and the climate agenda. Biden was commander-in-chief of the deep state cabal U.S. Incorporated, which was comprised of BlackRock, Vanguard and State Street corporations, that were 88% owners of the S&P 500 companies, which were all going down, but you'd never know it if you followed the manipulated stock market, or tried to find valid statistics reported by the paid-for by Soros mainstream news. The deep state cabal owned a facility for EMR, electromagnetic, waves called HAARP. These waves can penetrate everything on Earth. With EMR electromagnetic pulses you can start fires and destroy everything on Earth, including causing earthquakes, tsunamis and tornadoes. The deep state calls it global warming. Thursday 15th of February Elon Musk, SpaceX has moved its state of incorporation from Delaware to Texas. If your company is still incorporated in Delaware, I recommend moving to another state as soon as possible. Judy note. It was rumored that headquarters for the new restored republic will not be in deep state cabal-owned Washington, D.C., but was already being located in the sovereign state of Texas. John Kerry is in hot water after he landed Joe Biden in the middle of this lawsuit, conservative underground news. Along with that, the government you trusted with your hard-earned tax dollars has enslaved us all in over $34 trillion in debt. Communist China owns most of our debt and China makes most of our critical chain supplies. Like medications that keep many of you alive. Now the interest rate on that debt is climbing so fast that the annual interest alone is soon to be bigger than our entire defense budget. Turns out the smart people running the federal government have made so many bad decisions with foreign policy, sanctions, and trade that our dollar is under dire threat and soon could no longer be the world's currency. This means that your 401ks, retirement accounts, stock portfolios, and savings could soon be worthless and your government-mandated Social Security account that most of you depend on in retirement could soon be wiped out. These are just a few of the terrifying top national security threats we face. However, perhaps the greatest threat is the federal government has become so powerful over the people that it leaks intelligence to the press in order to pressure Congress to make certain votes, protect its own power to spy on its own citizens, maintain power and protect its own job security, and most terrifying of all has become weaponized to crush its political enemies. All of this I'm telling you didn't come from the SIF, you already know, and I'm depending on you to help me stop our greatest national security threat, the one from within. Targeted CIA MKUltra mind control, no chip required. There is MKUltra mind control program embedded in Obama's Leave the World Behind movie. Video editing expert discovers low-frequency infrasound embedded in Obama's Leave the World Behind movie. When downloaded and put into an editing program, the movie has 4 audio files instead of the standard 1 file. One of the audio files is just a low-frequency infrasound. For the last 15 years that I have been using Sony Vegas and other editing software and have gone through downloading movies, 100% of the time, it's either an MKV or a MP4, there's always one video file and one audio file. Now let me show you what happened when we downloaded the movie Leave the World Behind onto Sony Vegas. Here you go, 1 video file, 4 audio files opened up. And this 4th audio file seems to be the weapon. This is a low ELF, low frequency infrasound. Translation: there is an MKUltra program in this film. Biocoded DNA resonant frequency links targeted individuals to mind control matrix. Kathy O'Brien, an MKUltra survivor, interview with Isaac, Dr. Rainer Fulmich about Great Reset and pedo crimes. Apple fans are starting to return their Vision Pros. For some buyers, the honeymoon is already over. People complain about headaches, motion sickness, and the weight of the device. MK Ultra 2020, remote mind control through Amazon CIA Cloud Computing Electronic Brain Link. Targeted with no chip required, bio-coded DNA resonant frequency links targeted individuals to mind control matrix. The ultimate JFK assassination report, White Hats on Telegram: On November 22, 1963 a coup occurred that drastically changed the trajectory of America and the world for the worse. If John F. Kennedy had lived, perhaps we would have seen far less war, bloodshed, and conflict. Truly, he was and is an American hero and icon. This is my attempt to compile all the evidence you could possibly need to prove that JFK was assassinated through a conspiracy of the intelligence agencies, the bankers, the servants of the military-industrial complex, and the secret societies. May his legacy live on as he sacrificed his life in pursuit of a peaceful and prosperous world. On June 4, 1963, President John F. Kennedy issued Executive Order No. 11110, directing the Treasury to produce $4 billion worth of $2 and $5 bills. The bills, supported by silver reserves stored in the Treasury's vaults, were issued without debt or interest. The seigniorage, or profit from coinage, went directly to the U.S. government rather than to the privately owned U.S. Federal Reserve Bank. This issuance of notes was part of Kennedy's broader strategy to diminish the influence of the U.S. Federal Reserve Bank. On November 22, 1963, President Kennedy was assassinated in Dallas, Texas. The corrupt central banking system: The first central bank was known as the Bank of the United States. It was given a 20-year charter and was 80% owned by the British banking cabal. It was also given the power to lend out twice the amount of reserves held in the bank, creating huge profits for the bankers, who were also allowed to charge interest on the monies loaned. They ran the national debt up dramatically, which forced the government to sell its remaining holdings in the bank, making it a 100% owned private bank. However, when the time came to renew the charter, America refused to comply and simultaneously passed the Titles of Nobility Act, prohibiting any citizen who held titles given by the Crown to serve in any public office. This effectively removed British control over the American monetary system, which greatly angered the Rothschild, who then initiated the War of 1812. During the war, the British burned down Washington, D.C., eliminating all records of the passing of the original 13th Amendment, which was the Titles of Nobility Act. After several decades, Britain agreed to return control of America back to America with one stipulation: the removal of the 13th Amendment. By 1876, the 13th Amendment had been erased from all public records, an act that was aided by the Rothschild bribing many public officials. Proof of the passing of the original 13th Amendment was not discovered until over 100 years later in 1983. Thursday 15th of February. For those WHO say nothing's happening, David Wilcock, 1. President Clinton confirmed on Epstein list. 2. Iraq says no more USD exchange inside the country. 3. NATO full panic mode, planning to false flag themselves and blame Russia. 4. SCOTUS accepts filing alleging Jack Smith is an illegal special counsel. 5. Public confirmation that DJT never went to Epstein Island. 6. Genocide in Gaza confirmed by multiple alt-media/citizen journalists worldwide. Official case accepted by ICJ. 7. Tucker Carlson/Russell Brand say the words spiritual warfare, and C-19 was a bioweapon on Tucker's show, 3 weeks after Tucker basically proved Epstein didn't kill himself. Supreme Court to decide on 2020 and 2022 election fraud. A positive decision could dissolve the Biden administration and all of Congress. Thursday 8th of February. New Benjamin Fulford, secret adrenochrome intel. Like Maui, it's been burned to the ground. POTUS alert or EBS. The countdown begins. 2s. 6th of February. Putin interview with Tucker Carlson. Thursday 8th of February. Breaking news, Donald Trump has arrived in Moscow, joining the interview between Tucker and Putin. Tucker Carlson's interview with Putin. Thursday 8th of February at 6 p.m. EST. Could Tucker's interview with Putin save the world? Thursday, February 8, 2024, could Tucker's interview with Putin save the world? Why did Putin invade Ukraine? because Ukraine was a central headquarters of the criminal operations of the worldwide deep state. The government of Ukraine was directly installed by the US deep state to be their puppet government. When Russia invaded Ukraine, they disclosed the existence of a large number of US-funded biolabs, which posed an existential threat to all of mankind. The Russian invasion was focused on dismantling these biolabs. By destroying them, Russia potentially saved the world from incredible devastation, as many more bioweapons, far worse than C-0vid, would have been released in the future. Ukraine is also the headquarters of George Soros, one of the world's most well-known master criminals who buys governments and news media, and who is known for his operations to overthrow entire nations by funding social unrest such as BLM and Antifa. Saturday, April 22, 2023, Obama/Biden behind arming ISIS, Benghazi, SEAL Team 6 massacres, 2020 election fraud. If you only knew the significance of the numbers 3,6,9, then you would have the key to the universe. Nikola Tesla. Thursday, 8th of February, France, data of 33 million stolen in massive cyber attack. 8. Timing. On Friday, 9th of February, the Supreme Court has been called into an emergency session to hear arguments and make decisions on 2020 and 2022 voter fraud cases. If the decision is in favor of the three cases, it would dissolve the Biden administration and all of Congress. Supreme Court interrupts its break for landmark Trump ballot case. By Friday, 9th of February, the Minister of Planning, Minister of Finance, the Governor of the Central Bank of Iraq and the Prime Minister Sudani would receive the new Iraqi dinar exchange rate. By Friday, 9th of February, B2 funds for tiers 2,3,4A, groups, would be liquid. Saturday, 10th of February, was the beginning of the Chinese New Year, when BRICS countries would be informed of their new currency rates, and Tier 4B, US, the Internet Group, funds deposited in Paymaster accounts on WED. 7th of February would be liquid. Thursday, 8th of February, Bruce, there were three cases before the Supreme Court that would be decided tomorrow, Friday, 9 February, one filed by President Trump and his team on election fraud, one filed by the Brunson brothers on 2020 election fraud, and one filed on the 2022 election fraud. Around 11 a.m. EST on Friday, 9th of February, we should get Supreme Court decisions on those three 2020 and 2022 election fraud cases, which would reverse those elections. A couple of hours later, we should get notification to set appointments that could start Friday afternoon or Saturday, 10th of February. Sunday, 11th of February. The emergency broadcast system may activate worldwide after the Super Bowl. POTUS alert test incoming EBS Super Bowl night, Q post 2288. On Monday, 12th of February, SCOTUS would likely announce their decision on 2020 voter fraud. A positive decision would dissolve the Biden administration and all of Congress. On Thursday, February 15, 2024, Tier 4B exchanges and bond redemption will wrap up. B Global Currency Reset, Wednesday, 7th of February. Marks, one of the bondholders, has already had their money pulled back for violating the NDA. This also means that the bondholders are receiving money. It has begun. The Chinese elders have released to B1 funds into Paymaster accounts for Tier 1 countries internationally, that were now liquid and being paid out. To B2 funds for tiers 2,3,4A, groups, were released on Sunday, 4th of February, and would be liquid on Friday, 9th of February. To B3 funds for Tier 4B, US, the Internet Group, were released on Wednesday, 7th of February, and would be liquid by at least Saturday, 10th of February. Saturday, 10th of February, was the beginning of the Chinese New Year, when BRICS countries would be informed of their new currency rates and Tier 4B funds deposited on WED. 7th of February would be liquid in Paymaster accounts. Thursday, 8th of February, dinar on Forex. Dinar RV happens this Saturday, 10th of February. $4.81 rate. Dinar and dong revaluing starting. Iraqi dinar today. Video updates Thursday AM February 8, 2024. The Bank of England fell. See Thursday, February 8, 2024. Bruce, the big call. This morning, Thursday, 8th of February, a banker said to Bruce, "Soon we will all be the light of the new world." There were three cases before the Supreme Court that would be decided tomorrow, Friday, 9 February. One filed by President Trump and his team on election fraud, one filed by the Brunson brothers on 2020 election fraud, and one filed on the 2022 election fraud. Around 11 a.m. EST on Friday, 9th of February, we should get Supreme Court decisions on those three 2020 and 2022 election fraud cases, which would reverse those elections. A couple of hours later we should get notification to set appointments that could start Friday afternoon or Saturday 10th of February. Trump should return before we go into the redemption centers. He has been acting as Commander-in-Chief of the military, but will return as U.S. President. Reclamation and restitution allowances and increases in Social Security should occur sometime this month of February. The new rates are locked in on bank and redemption center screens. You will get a better rate at a redemption center. A call took place with the leaders of the redemption centers around the U.S. and Wells Fargo on Tuesday, 6th of February. Recent history of the global currency reset. On Thursday 25th of January the gold-backed U.S. dollar was introduced from the U.S. Treasury in Reno. The next day on Friday 26th of January all 86 global currency reset platforms were loaded and launched. By Sunday 28th of January, the new Iraqi dinar rate, which had been released in country on Monday 1st of January, and the new U.S. note were both trading on the Forex. The Iraqi Stock Exchange, ISX, has completed their link-up of international platforms. They are done and live. Wednesday 7th of February. RV update. Walking stick. The Central Bank of Iraq is done with the constant meetings to get the monetary reform education out because the campaign was started and it's doing very well. All these meetings that the CBI had with all these agencies that were helping them with their monetary reform are done. All the things that AKI, Iraqi bank friend, had to do in order to qualify to exchange the 30 notes into American dollars is done. International platforms that were needed in order to do electronic transfers is done. Iraqi bank friend AKI update. This is the monetary reform roadmap for the next couple of weeks. January 29th the banking campaign was started to release deeper education about the monetary reform to the Iraqi citizens. Either Thursday 8th of February or Friday 9th of February the Minister of Planning, Minister of Finance, the Governor of the Central Bank of Iraq and the Prime Minister Sadani are all going to be receiving the flow down of information regarding the new currency that is to be released, and the new exchange rate for that new currency. Also, the Erbil Stock Exchange, ESX, and the Iraqi Stock Exchange, ISX, have completed their link-up of international platforms. They are done and going live at any moment. Global financial crisis. Thursday 8th of February situation with loans in the U.S. In the fourth quarter of 2023, household debt increased by $212 billion, reaching $17.5 trillion. Credit card balances grew by $50 billion to $1.13 trillion. It's important to note that in this context, balances refer not to the credit limit on the card but to the amount already used, i.e., the debt owed by the cardholder to the bank. Mortgage loan balances increased by $112 billion to $12.25 trillion. Auto loan balances rose by $12 billion to $1.61 trillion, continuing the upward trend observed since 2011. Delinquencies increased across all types of debt, except for student loans. Bank failures and system collapses don't have to necessarily start or finish in the U.S., they can start and finish elsewhere in other countries. This article dated today speaks about financial woes in Germany and stock prices dropping. Restored Republic, they are coming for us. Be prepared. Warning. Sheriff prepare Americans for coming disaster 2024, Thursday 8th of February where world events are headed, Jocko, Bennett. Thursday 8th of February major announcement, Trump, Carlson, Musk. Thursday 8th of February big Supreme case soon, let the games begin, on the fringe. Thursday 8th of February initial thoughts after the Putin interview, bio clandestine on Telegram. I really wanted to see Putin go into detail on the degeneration of Western society, because I think it would have resonated with the American people. The history about Ukrainian Nazism will be effective and his talk of denazification will certainly draw some attention. Obviously I wanted Tucker to ask Putin about the biolabs in Ukraine, but as I stated yesterday, this topic might be too far of a jump down the rabbit hole for those new to this realm. This interview seemed to be an introductory first impression to appeal to Western citizens and disprove the MSM-created perception of Putin. Anyone who watched the interview objectively would have to agree that Putin is not the monster we were told he was, and negotiations can be made if there is competency from U.S. leadership. Hopefully this will change the perception of the U.S. being innocent darlings in the conflict, and can eventually lead to mass realization that the US/NATO are the ones who brought war and weapons to Russia's doorstep via espionage and CIA color revolutions. Putin knows way too much history. Putin is operating on an intellectual plane far above all US politicians. Putin appears to want cooperation, but the West have isolated Russia. Putin does not want to invade Poland or take over the world. Putin is not the deranged warmonger the MSM describes him as. Putin is well aware of the deep state and recognizes the CIA as nefarious. Thursday 8th of February. New Benjamin Fulford, secret adrenochrome intel. If this doesn't make your blood boil, I don't know what will. A high-level government official, this person has been alone in the room with US presidents and Israeli prime ministers. If you find your missing child's name on the list, we promise we will leave no stone unturned to either rescue or get justice for your child. This is possible because the files contain the names and home addresses of 456 adrenochrome harvesters. Super Bowl checkmate, gold shall destroy Fed. This year's Super Bowl matchup has so many multiple meanings. The Wizard of Oz Bowl, as I like to call it, due to the connection to the yellow brick road in San Francisco, but it goes deeper than that, I think. Kansas in Aztec means silver. Kansas claims to have gotten the name from the Kanza tribe, meaning south wind people. Aztecs originated from Mexico, south of the United States. If you look at Aztec silver, it has an Indian on it. The Kansas City Chiefs logo can be found with a silver background, and back in 1968 they used to have silver face masks. Chiefs is obviously another name for Indian. The 49 ERS are from Northern California. Gold was discovered in Northern California in 1849. We know the cabal runs their entire operation through San Francisco. See my post below on San Francisco. Vincent Kennedy posted a few posts regarding the Aztec symbolism and silver. Look at their symbols below, the pedo symbols and the all-seeing eye. When I lived in Arizona, it drove me crazy seeing the pedo symbols on many of the below symbols all over the walls, rocks, buildings, signs and the malls. I have seen a few anons like at TWM 316 talk about how there has been Egyptian statues found in the Grand Canyon along with gold and silver. If you remember the movie Pirates of the Caribbean, Johnny Depp's character was after Aztec gold. We know he's been a popular figure during this movie, especially to his connection to Alice in Wonderland, the Hollywood vampires and Amber Heard. So really what we have is a battle of silver versus gold, and we know that the Golden Gate Bridge is the Black Swan event that exposes it all, and we know that gold shall destroy Fed. So that means Kansas City Chiefs representing the Fed, which explains why the Fed have stopped at nothing to promote the Kansas City Chiefs connection to Taylor Swift, clone of Xena LaVey Church of Satan, San Francisco. $AMCHQ is in Kansas. Adam Aaron screwed over the hashtag apes, which makes perfect sense because of their connection to the Fed. But the rise of the Planet of the Apes, and Wizard of Oz flying monkeys tells us that apes will aid in the Fed's destruction and be part of the biggest wealth transfer in history. Ripple Labs moved their headquarters to San Francisco in 2019 under the control of the White Hat's control. Swift Financial System is in the process of being upgraded to the new financial standards ISO 20022. Taylor Swift, get it, up pointing finger, XRP is a ISO 20022 token and should moon. Bitcoin, Tether and other non-ISO 20022 compliant cryptocurrencies should crash along with the dollar. So with all that being said, the population can watch the Super Bowl 58 Sunday, February 11, 2024 in anticipation of a football game. I am watching to witness the complete collapse of our country's financial system as they flip the switch and destroy the old guard's power, and give power back to the players. Nizra. Shall we play a dollar GME? I have a feeling we are not in Kansas anymore. To 2. Checkmate. Wednesday 7th of February. Chinese nationals arrested at border. Thursday 8th of February. Executive Order 13,818 repossession for crimes against humanity. From a mansion in Miami to a condo in Atlanta, big-name actors and professional athletes have wasted no time marketing their luxury properties for sale. Wednesday 7th of February. New Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson tries to stop World War III in history-making interview with Putin. Wednesday 7th of February. Donald Trump nominated for Nobel Peace Prize. French farmers and protesters take protest directly to supermarket and against cheap foreign imports that will see them bankrupt. Support the farmers, they feed us all. Thursday 8th of February. Primetime just found another Wanda and he's an absolute legend. Craig Calloway is a Democratic operative accused of paying people to harvest votes from old and disabled people. Wednesday 7th of February. Bill Maher calls out Joe Biden for lying about requiring additional paperwork from Congress to deal with the border issues. The president can fix this, He already has the existing laws. This is also silly. I need a piece of paper from Congress to deal with the border. No, you already have that. The FCC just made robocalls illegal. Thursday 8th of February. The border crisis. The 5 Fox News. Thursday 8th of February. Russian nuclear weapons plant explodes. Thursday 8th of February. Senator John Kennedy to U.S. Department of Energy Deputy Secretary David Turk. You don't know, do you? You just want us to spend $50 trillion, and you don't have the slightest idea whether it's going to reduce world temperatures. Hawaii has given a big FU to the Second Amendment. And Thursday 8th of February. White Hat Intel. Wednesday 7th of February. D.C. Appeals Court really said, George Bush has immunity. Bill Clinton has immunity. Barack Obama has immunity. Donald Trump does not have immunity. Joe Biden has immunity. Everything you need to know. Nothing can stop what is coming. Hitler arrested the Rothschild in Germany in 1933, Austria in 1938, and France in 1940, and seized their assets. By taking Germany out of the Rothschild-owned banking system, he transformed Germany into a superpower. The Rothschild family had attempted to infiltrate America through its banking system from the day America was formed. They were blocked by President Andrew Jackson, but ultimately were able to gain control through the passing of the Federal Reserve Act in 1913. Oh, global food shortage crisis. Wednesday 7th of February. Fires and more fires continued to strike France, as more than 100 firefighting teams were dispatched by the French authorities to try to extinguish the massive fires that affected many public and private facilities. As the government was striving hard due to the tractor revolution that spread from France to the rest of the countries, and the French farmers were joined by their companions from Spain and Belgium, the Netherlands, and Germany, where all the main highways leading to Paris were closed, and Spanish farmers are planning to besiege the capital of their country. As you can see now, after the farmers closed 8 highways around the capital with tractors and burning tires in protest against the government's decisions, France deployed 15,000 policemen. French people in the streets and roads under the surveillance of security forces. The demands of these farmers were to obtain better income and less stringent environmental standards, as is the case in other European countries, where one of the protesters was able to break into a storage area in the international market, which led to the arrest of 93 people. In person, the farmers sprayed government buildings with sewage. Accordingly, banks and a number of establishments were closed, and the local government building was set on fire. They launched a new campaign to flood one of the police stations with natural fertilizer. The executive authority allowed the farmers to demonstrate and express their opinion and anger for a few days, but they did not last. This situation is so great that they approached the Rangers region, and the Minister of the Interior warned against harming this place because of its great economic impact, as it is considered the first fresh produce market in the world and the largest in Europe in terms of area and the main center through which most food products pass to supply Paris and its cities. Teachers also attended. Schools demanded higher salaries and better working conditions. The protests continued after the Prime Minister announced the provision of concessions to farmers. And until now French farmers continue to close other roads around Paris and strategic places in the country, which increases pressure on the government. Spanish farmers also announced they're joining the European movement, where forces intervened. The security forces that tried to prevent the advance of the farmers' tractor convoy in central western France towards the Rangers market were also stopped. Thursday 8th of February. Ken and Barbie vs. Goliath IRS update, Wednesday 7th of February. Dear Patriot friends and family, as you know from my last email, the prosecutor quit as the lead attorney. So, we decided to be bold by asking for subpoenas of the IRS auctioneer and others to testify under oath. This change creates a slight delay to our long-anticipated hearing on our motion to dismiss, and therefore, the hearing of February 8th, is delayed for a few days. We believe this strategy, coupled with other pieces of our plan, will work together to ensure the positive results we're looking for. Our goal: to have all charges dropped, the entire case dismissed without ever having to go to trial. We believe in miracles. Do you? Ken really appreciates receiving encouraging messages in postcards. White, pre-stamped postcards with your name and complete return address handwritten is the only correspondence accepted at the jail. Paul Cromar, number 567,164, Davis County Jail, P.O. Box 130, Farmington, Utah 84025-0130. Q. Biden crime family. Biden admitted he had classified documents strewn about his home dating back to 1974. They were also in his China-funded Penn office, where he was paid $1 million to be a professor, but never taught a single class. Way back on Sunday, December 27, 2020, a Ukrainian press conference outlined international corruption sanctioned under Democratic senators and demanded return of billions stolen from the Ukrainian people laundered through what has been referred to as the Biden crime family. While serving as vice president in the Obama administration, Joe Biden outwardly bragged on TV about blackmailing a Ukraine prosecutor. The video was taken off the internet. Just before the 2020 election, Biden was filmed on TV while admitting, "We have put together the most comprehensive voter fraud organization in the history of politics, and you guys did it for the Obama administration also." Joe Biden brags about having the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in history. R. Farm claims, Nizra, American Patriot on Telegram Thursday 8 February, banks and the government illegally seized Midwestern family farms that belonged to the Farmers Union by giving land patents to farms. A land patent provides legal protection against illegal land grabbers. It is illegal to seize any property owned by an allodial title. Allodial. The corporation USA Incorporated thought they owned the land when they seized the land from the Federal Republic of the United States. They did not honor property rights. A land farm with this type of title can only be transferred by the owner voluntarily, which means it cannot be removed by any other means. The properties in question were pledged to banks by the innocent and unknowing owner as security for a loan. They had no choice, to pawn the land or not take a loan. Forfeiture of the property was written into the loan if it was not repaid on time. This was against the law, the banks knew it and the county clerks of county government knew it too. Clerks recorded the transfer of ownership to the banks without the voluntary signature of the legal owner. This was pure fraud perpetrated and justified by America's illegal foreclosure of USA Incorporated. Nizra aims to reclaim all of this land and pay the illegal lawsuits and legal fees to these people. The Khazarian Mafia, City of London and Child Sacrifice. A summary: about 1200 AD an incredibly evil society emerged in Khazaria. The Khazarian Mafia king and his inner circle of oligarchs practiced ancient Babylonian black magic Baal worship. In return, their god Satan was said to promise them power over the world and all its riches. The leaders of the surrounding nations, especially Russia, were disturbed by Khazarian crimes against their people. By 800 AD the Russians led a group of nations surrounding Khazaria, invaded and conquered it. They then delivered an ultimatum to the Khazarian king that he must choose one of the three Abrahamic religions for his people: Islam, Christianity, or Judaism. The Khazarian king chose Judaism, but only pretended to practice it while continuing to sacrifice children to Satan so his mafia could rule the world. The Khazarian Mafia then invaded England, murdered King Charles I and began the English Civil Wars. The wars raged for nearly a decade and resulted in launching the British Empire and setting up the City of London as the banking capital of Europe. The real and forbidden history of the Khazarian Mafia and the City of London equals banking capital of world. Professor Ellis Washington. Real news for real patriots from the Judy Byington Report, Part 30, Ellis Washington Report. The Khazarian king chose Judaism and promised to stay within the requirements laid out by the surrounding confederacy of nations led by the Russian Tsar. Despite his agreement and promise, the Khazarian king and his inner circle of oligarchs kept practicing ancient Babylonian black magic, also known as secret Satanism. This secret Satanism involved occult ceremonies featuring child sacrifice, after bleeding them out, drinking their blood and eating their hearts. The deep dark secret of the occult ceremonies was that they were all based on ancient Baal worship, also known as worship of the owl. In order to fool the confederacy of nations led by Russia that were watching Khazaria, the Khazarian king melded these Luciferian black magic practices with Judaism and created a secret satanic hybrid religion, known as Babylonian Talmudism. This was made the national religion of Khazaria and nurtured the same evil that Khazaria was known for before. Sadly, the Khazarians continued their evil ways, robbing and murdering those from surrounding countries who traveled through Khazaria. Khazarian robbers often attempted to assume their identities after they murdered these visitors and became masters of disguises and false identities, a practice they have continued even to this very day, along with their child sacrifice occult ceremonies, which are actually ancient Baal worship. 1200 AD. Russia and the surrounding nations have had enough and take action. About 1200 AD, the Russians led a group of nations surrounding Khazaria and invaded it, in order to stop the Khazarian crimes against their people, which included kidnapping of their young children and infants for their blood sacrifice ceremonies to Baal. The Khazarian leaders had a well-developed spy network through which they obtained prior warning and escaped from Khazaria to European nations to the west, taking their vast fortune with them in gold and silver. They laid low and regrouped, while assuming new identities. The Khazarian king and his court mafia plotted eternal revenge against the Russians and the surrounding nations that invaded Khazaria and drove them from power. The Khazarian mafia invades England after being expelled for hundreds of years. To accomplish their invasion, they hired Oliver Cromwell to murder King Charles I, and make England safe for banking again. This began the English Civil Wars, which raged for nearly a decade, resulting in regicide of the royal family and hundreds of the genuine English nobility. This is how the City of London was set up as the banking capital of Europe and launched the beginning of the British Empire. The City of London, Vatican and DC are all not part of the countries they are in. They are independent land, owned by the Rothschild and globalist cartel. They are symbols of a cult. These three also have obelisks in common, which also shows that they are all connected by Freemasonry, which prays directly to the devil himself, who they call Lucifer, the god of good and light. They call Christ the bad guy. These deluded Satanists are running things, which explains a lot of the negativity in the world today. The obelisk is phallic in its appearance and represents the male penis. It is symbolic of the Egyptian sun god, Ra, and is an ancient symbol of male energy and generation, in Freemasonry. London Obelisk, aka Cleopatra's Needle, located on the banks of the River Thames, this obelisk was transported to London and erected in 1878 under the reign of Queen Victoria. The obelisk originally stood in the Egyptian city of On, or Heliopolis, the city of the sun. Although we the people have been falsely taught since the 1870s that sci-fiction literature and latter movies and radio, for example, H.G. Wells' popular novel, War of the Worlds, 1898, actually brought global panic when it was serialized in a 1938 radio show, are purely fantasy and not reality. However, remember, the movie industry, created and controlled by the Rothschild Khazarian Mafia, have always lied to us through entertainment propaganda since the founding of the satanic New World Order cinema called Hollywood. And its first movie they created celebrating the virulent racism, torture, terrorism, and black hatred of the Ku Klux Klan called Birth of a Nation, 1915. Therefore, the Morpheus quote from the Matrix movie, "Everything they told you was a lie," is not hyperbole, but is 100% true. And as you become more aware of the reality of truth, the further you read into this essay and in other essays of this multi-part series. False flag wars like the so-called present Russian war in Ukraine, illegal immigration, the imminent arrest of Trump, martial law imposed on America and the world, which will serve as triggering events which are all forerunners to a coming storm. These Machiavellian tactics, many which have existed for hundreds and even thousands of years, are now presently being exposed to the world thanks to the Q-level military intelligence drops released to the public beginning on October 30, 2017 by Q and his legions of analysts called Quanons, which Wikipedia and the propaganda CIA MK Ultra mind control media to this day call conspiracy theory, a term invented by the CIA to hide the treasonous actors like the CIA, FBI, LBJ, George H.W. Bush, and others who plotted the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, who promised to break up the intelligence agencies like the FBI and CIA for their many crimes against humanity, sedition and treason against the American people. Cabal created food shortages worldwide coming to fruition as the World Economic Forum vows to ration meat, electricity, gas and force use of their central bank fiat digital currency that would control your life and pocketbook. All Dubai funds released for global currency reset. Wells Fargo, Bank of America, U.S. Bank, Citizens, TD and KeyBank all shutting down branches in preparation for global economic crash. A global currency reset, Monday 5th of February marks, on Saturday 3rd of February. Tier 3 church groups were told to be on standby to fly to Reno within 24 to 48 hours. Wednesday 7th of February. Do B3 funds for Tier 4B exchanges go into Paymaster accounts and would be liquid 48 hours later, or by Friday 9th of February. Wolverine. On Friday, February 9, 2024, the Supreme Court will make a decision on the Brunson case, Florida 2020 voter fraud case and a 2020 voter fraud case brought in by President Trump. Sunday, 11th of February. The emergency broadcast system may activate worldwide after the Super Bowl. POTUS alert test incoming EBS Super Bowl night, Q post 2288. On Monday, 12th of February, SCOTUS will likely announce their decision on 2020 voter fraud. A positive decision would dissolve the Biden administration and all of Congress. On Thursday, February 15, 2024, Tier 4B exchanges and bond redemption will wrap up. Saturday, 3rd of February. Wolverine, D-Day funding for Tier 4B from WE3 will be released into Paymaster accounts on Wednesday, 7th of February. And within 48 hours from there it will be liquid, or by SAT. 10th of February, I spoke to big whales in Spain and South America. They were under NDAs and couldn't talk but did say it has started. Lawyers who have close contact with Paymasters say that the funds are in Paymaster accounts. Do B1 funds have all been released. Do B2 funds are releasing right now and should be finished by Sunday, 4th of February. Do B3 funds were about to be emptied. 42 states removed taxes from purchase of gold and silver. B. Recent history of the global currency reset. On Thursday, 25th of January, the gold-backed US dollar was introduced from the US Treasury in Reno. The next day, on Friday, 26th of January, all 86 global currency reset platforms were launched and loaded. By Sunday, 28th of January, the new Iraqi dinar rate, which had been released in country on Monday, 1st of January, and the new US note were both trading on the Forex. On Monday, 29th of January, tiers above Tier 4B, US, the Internet Group, began receiving notification for appointments and now some were in the process of exchanging. See global financial collapse. Monday, 5 February. 20th nations join BRICS, ditch US dollar. Monday, 5th of February. Nearly 30% of all stocks in China have been halted as China's CSI 1000 index slides 8% in a matter of hours. China's Evergrande crisis. Baghdad, February 4th. Reuters, Iraq has banned 8 local commercial banks from engaging in US dollar transactions, taking action to reduce fraud, money laundering and other illegal uses of US currency days after a visit by a top US Treasury official. The Iraqi banks have been banned from accessing the Iraqi central bank's daily dollar auction. The daily dollar auction has become a way of smuggling dollars for Iran, and this is expected to restrain much of those activities. This is part of the economic and financial reforms Iraq is going through to meet international banking standards and achieve international connectivity. As you can see, Iraq has begun implementing some of their economic reforms as promised. Goldilocks. Wells Fargo, Bank of America, U.S. Bank, Citizens, TD and KeyBank among big banks to shut 139 branches in January alone, after another 37 closed in final week of month. D. Dangers of Cabal Fiat Central Bank Digital Currency, CBDCs. The repo reserve liquidity is down to $500 billion. This is the budget from the Federal Reserve to save troubled banks in liquidity crisis. This program, called Bank Term Funding Program, BTFP, will be dead by March 11, 2024, little more than a month from today. They will drain to zero. We will see more banks crashing. Meanwhile, the debt for the U.S. bankrupted corporation is $34.17 trillion. And bond payments close to $10 trillion is due this year. Good luck trying to collect. But the news said the market is doing great. Closer to $10 trillion. This article was from 11/2023. $7.6 trillion of U.S. government debt will mature in the next year, adding pressure on rates. Federal Reserve announces that the Bank Term Funding Program, BTFP, will cease making new loans by 3.11. Federal Reserve reverse repo facility in June 2022 was $2 trillion. Warning: what will happen if we go to the fiat central bank digital currency? If a traffic camera catches you jaywalking in China, the digital ID system has you. It has your blood, it has your genetic code, it has your photograph. It will convict you and take money out of your bank. Dr. Jordan Peterson. Restored Republics of the World, Sunday, 11th of February. EBS activates after the Super Bowl. POTUS alert test incoming EBS Super Bowl night, Q post 2288. Sunday, 4th of February. Special report. Military forces, Q, and the EBS. According to Ground Command, the entire world is currently under international or global martial law. Monday 5th of February Judy Byington bombshell report. Unreported by our fake news mainstream media, according to Ground Command, the entire world is currently under international or global martial law. And, they have a plan. Restored Republic via GCR as of February 5, 2024. Worldwide food crisis. Monday 5th of February food crisis, farmer protests in Ireland. In Ireland farmers have been told they must cull 200,000 cows to meet the government's climate ambition. This is amongst other insane legislation which will technically bankrupt them. The Irish farmer fight back has now begun. Monday 5th of February food crisis, Brussels. Hungarian Prime Minister Orbán preferred a walk with farmers protesting in Brussels to dinner with EU leaders. The farmers' protests across Europe continue, with Dutch and Belgian tractor drivers blockading border highways. Monday 5th of February food crisis, Canada. The average Canadian is just dreaming about affording food. A quarter of Canadians are now borrowing money just for essentials like eating. Now Canadians are borrowing up a storm because they can't afford the higher prices that you've imposed on them. The price of coffee is up 14% in 1 year. Bread is up 15% and the butter on the bread is up 17%. Our inflation rate is near a 40-year high. French farmers decorated a McDonald's branch with cow dung and made it clear where the globalist club should finally go. Namely to hell. Monday 5th of February the French farmers are now removing their blockades after the government has given in to their demands. The French farmers have won. Monday 5th of February American leaders sign World Economic Forum treaty to ration meat, electricity and gas. The real news for Monday February 5, 2024, Monday 5th of February chemtrails, a global conspiracy threatening mind and body health. Chemtrails are globally being done, Gov-sanctioned. Why, nobody knows. Monday 5th of February pro-nuclear documentary warns of America fragile electrical grid. Monday 5th of February El Salvador. El Salvador's re-elected president Nayib Bukele is impressive. He did the impossible and cleaned up a lot of the gangs such as Barrio 18 and MS-13 that has terrorized the country. 7,000 soldiers and 1,000 police officers were activated in the Cabañas, as well as the country's northern border with Honduras. They have arrested more than 66,000 suspected gang members. They enacted new laws to allow mass trials of gang members in groups of up to 900 and raise the maximum prison sentence for gang leaders from 45 to 60 years. This is what law and order looks like. Monday 5th of February House Speaker Mike Johnson doesn't think Biden is in charge. Sunday 4th of February. Breaking news, Tucker Carlson has arrived in Moscow, Russia, to interview President Vladimir Putin. Monday 5th of February bombshell, Tucker Carlson's exclusive interview with Vladimir Putin in Moscow, full transcript released. Israel, General Flynn states that when Hamas attacked Gaza, there was a decision made to have a security stand down, on the 7th of October, for 7 hours. Netanyahu must be removed. And looks like that's the consensus. Monday 5th of February California, nearly 1 million without power as powerful storm strikes the California coast. Currently, nearly 900,000 California residences are without power as strong winds associated with the powerful atmospheric river event hit the state. California has declared a state of emergency as winds could produce hurricane-force gusts exceeding 60 miles per hour at the coastline, with gusts of 80 to 100 miles per hour in coastal mountain areas. Major to life-threatening flooding is possible along the southern slopes of the mountains in Southern California, as the storm could also produce powerful waves along the coastline. New Los Angeles, extremely dangerous situation unfolding in the Hollywood Hills area and around the Santa Monica Mountains, ! Life-threatening landslides and additional flash flooding expected overnight tonight. Avoid travel if at all possible. Monday 5th of February Southern California is getting obliterated by torrential rain causing flash flood warnings. The storm even caused a sea foam storm where strong winds blew foam onto people standing on the shore. The storm was thanks to an atmospheric river which is relatively long, narrow regions in the atmosphere that transport most of the water vapor outside of the tropics. NOAA, the average atmospheric river carries the equivalent amount of water as the average flow at the mouth of the Mississippi River. Monday 5th of February the U.S. Senate has voted for funding again for Israel and Ukraine. All that's left is Biden to sign and send out payments. In this bill nothing will go to U.S. citizens or Americans, only foreigners, except, of course, the money that's laundered back into Biden and the legislators' pockets. Money laundering politicians. Iran equals Obama sends $150 billion in cash to Iran before leaving office in 2016. John Kerry's daughter is married to an Iranian national. Ukraine equals Hunter Biden/Joe Biden dealings and corruption, stealing millions from American taxpayers to funnel money to Ukraine. Nancy Pelosi's son Paul sits on the board of a Ukrainian energy company. Romney's son does too. John Kerry's son. Biden's son. Now you know why we're helping Ukraine and why Pelosi is still here. Having fun yet? The tentacles of Ukraine corruption capture Cofer Black of Bush's 9/11 cabinet, Obama, Biden, Soros, Schiff, Pelosi, Bolton, John Kerry, Romney, and the Clintons. New Zealand, politician and lawyer, Liz Gunn, calls for New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern to be forced to return to NZ with her passport held. According to Mike Johnson, this radical spending is the result of deals that were made prior to him taking the reins. Here's what the people pushing this deal aren't telling you: it accepts 5,000 illegal immigrants a day and gives automatic work permits to asylum recipients, a magnet for more illegal immigration. $60 billion to Ukraine, $14.1 billion to Israel, $10 billion in humanitarian assistance to Israel, $2 billion to support U.S. Central Ops Command in Red Sea, $20 billion for the U.S. border, $2.3 billion for refugee resettlement in the U.S. Monday, 5th of February. Crisis at the border, 60-minute documentary: how to guide migrants to come to the U.S. illegally. Get a visa for Mexico. A day's walk to Big Bend National Park. A TikToker/migrants will send you to a clean tunnel for $300. Welcome to America: free healthcare, free education if you're an immigrant, get a job and monthly benefit income from U.S. government. Source: 60-minute documentary that says, "We do not condone any actions of illegal activity and we are just interpreting what is already available and on World Wide Web for education purposes." Monday, 5th of February. Border crisis. The razor wire that Texas has put up at a park on the border with Mexico has resulted in a massive reduction in migrant crossings in the area, Texas Governor Greg Abbott said. Abbott, who has had an ongoing feud with the Biden administration over illegal crossings at the border, said that the governors of other states are rallying around Texas to support our ongoing right to self-defense. And the deployment of this razor wire that has led to a massive reduction in inflow. The area where we have occupied this park in Eagle Pass, Texas, that we put up the razor wire, there used to be 3,000 or 4,000 people crossing that area a day. Wars and rumors of wars. In 2016, Victoria Nuland told Congress that U.S. advisors serve in 12 Ukrainian ministries, U.S.-trained police operate in 18 Ukrainian cities, the U.S. Treasury helped close 60 Ukrainian banks. And the U.S. spent $266 million on training Ukrainian soldiers. Who is this war really between? Russia and Ukraine? Or Russia and the U.S.? Deep State. Monday, 5th of February. Update: Ken and Barbie vs. Goliath. IRS. During a now 6-year court battle with the IRS, Ken and Barbara Cromar won their case in a federal tax court that they owed no monies to the IRS. After which the IRS sent 2 different SWAT teams that on 2 occasions took away Ken and Barbara Cromar's fully paid-for home and threw away all their possessions, including expensive camera equipment Ken used to make a living. Now Ken is sitting in jail on charges he lived in his own home and used his own possessions. The Goliath IRS admitted that Barbie and Ken were never sent any notices of deficiency and that the IRS had ever made any determination of a tax liability for Barbie and Ken. As such, the U.S. tax court had no jurisdiction over Barbie and Ken. This lack of jurisdiction means that everything done to Barbie and Ken, including the seizure of their home for an unpaid tax debt, the auctioning off of their home on the courthouse steps, and their 6-year legal battle to protect themselves, their home and reputation, life, liberty and pursuit of happiness, has been an unlawful attempt by the DOJ to deny Barbie and Ken of their God-given, constitutional rights. Furthermore, the IRS admitted that the dismissal of the case against Barbie and Ken was because the IRS had not issued Barbie and Ken a notice of deficiency or a notice of determination before or at the time Barbie and Ken filed their petition on April 2, 2021. An admission that Barbie and Ken did not and never did owe any taxes for the tax years 1990 through 2020. Then, in a typical act of sour grapes, the IRS threatened Barbie and Ken with a penalty if they ever filed a similar complaint, against the IRS. "Okay, you won, but if you try this again, we will beat up In the United States Tax Court, petitioner, Barbara Ann Cromar versus the Commissioner of Internal Revenue, respondent. Barbara Cromar demanded in her petition filed in the U.S. Tax Court on April 2, 2021, that the IRS provide copies of, any and all, the deficiency notices, sent to the Cromars, alleging deficiencies or the non-payment of taxes for the years 1990 through 2020. In response, on May 26, 2021, Rebecca A. Myers, Associate Area Counsel for the respondent, Commissioner of Internal Revenue, filed a motion to dismiss for Barbara. Our globalist agenda. Bill Gates wants to block out the sun in order to help with climate change, by dispersing nanoparticles into the stratosphere. How is this dim the sun technology different from chemtrails? The process seems to be exactly the same as we are seeing in our skies every day, but no one questions what they see in the skies. Most people think that those are from the commercial airlines. Watch what happens after a couple of hours of spraying. The weather turns from sunny to cloudy and you feel weird from the poison you are breathing. It looks like a grayish, cloudy layer that gets stuck there. It neither rains nor it gets more or less cloudy. Now the real question what critical thinkers should ask, why in the world does Billy want to block out the sun if the supposed global warming or climate change is driven by human activity and carbon emissions? For a smart person, either he has a wisdom of a goldfish, or there is something much more sinister behind it. It's up to you to decide. Monday 5th of February Charlie Ward, we should begin to see the below list flowing out in the soon coming immediate future. There are other events that are important such as the stock market crash, EBS and the new financial system. I have chosen not to include them in the list below, but those things are coming and we should pay attention to real events that are about to and very soon begin to unfold. Hold the line and stay steady. Lock your faith into the Word of God. What is about to happen is biblical and we should understand that. See you on the other side. The other side is the promised land. Are you truly ready? Locked and loaded? As I see it, we are waiting for some public announcements to come forth including the following. 1. Public announcement of the USN on the Golden Asset Standard. 2. Public announcement of the new USN notes money supply. 3. Public announcement of USN bills paid. A. Iraq has a trust problem with the U.S. B. They need to see items 1 to 2 and 3 above publicly announced so they can go forward. 4. Public announcement of the new Iraq International Dinar rate. 5. Public announcement of the new Iraq International Data rate published in the Gazette 6. Public announcement of Nizara 7. Public announcement of Gusira 8. Public announcement of Biden gone 9. Public announcement of Trump's return. 10. Private announcement of RV notifications including 800 numbers and Starlink K. Private announcement of Tier 3 liquidity and spendable. Private announcement for liquidity of all tiers. 11. Public announcement of the following. A. Social Security increase and change of system. B. Reclamation monies. C. Debt forgiveness jubilee. D. Other funds as applicable. You heard of the Lucas Trust? It was established in 1922 by Freemasons Alice and Foster Bailey and was originally called Lucifer Publishing Company. Its name was changed because it revealed the true nature of the satanic New Age movement and caused public outrage. The Lucas Trust original address was 666 United Nations Plaza. Alice was a writer and is regarded by New Agers and occultists as one of the prophetesses of the New Age movement. She lived between 1880 and 1949. She wrote the 10 rules for the United Nations for their New World Order. The Red Pill Alert, Short History of the Q and QAnon Movement. 99 years later the Q movement took on a more formal appearance with the deep state banking cabal's murder of President Kennedy in 1964. It was 46 years from there when military action for the Q Movement Alliance started in earnest in 2012. Their first major event took 3 years in the making, and culminated with the arrest of Hillary Clinton for treason on September 11, 2016. They executed her at Gitmo in 2018. Meanwhile in 2016 the alliance made sure Donald Trump was elected U.S. president despite widespread voter fraud by the Democrat Party in collusion with foreign powers, including the Chinese Communist Party. Later in 2017 Trump was on a world tour to form the Worldwide Alliance. In that same release Charles' brother Andrew surfaced in an email from one of the victims that showed a child sex tape filmed by Epstein himself. On Tuesday, 13th of February, Biden disappeared on vacation as DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas was impeached by the House of Representatives for refusing to secure the border. 2s. 13th of February, the Khazarian Mafia, Ashkenazi Jews, were starting to show their faces, and this Azov battalion was pushing for war with Russia. 2s. 13th of February, King Charles III diagnosed with cancer, according to Buckingham Palace. 2s. 13th of February, Planned Parenthood faces $1.6 billion federal trial for selling baby body parts. 2s. 13th of February, former U.S. Secretary of State and CIA Director Mike Pompeo danced with Israeli soldiers near Gaza border. 2s. 13th of February, Elon Musk says passing a basic cognitive test should not be optional for someone who controls the nuclear football. U.S. President. DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas has been impeached by the House of Representatives for refusing to secure the border. It was a 214 to 213 vote, with Buck, Gallagher, and McClintock once again being the three Republicans who voted against. Super Bowl full of satanic symbolism. 2s. 13th of February, situation update. Judy Byington, unredacted, green light by President Trump, just signed Nizara/Jazara. It's go time. Special Intel Report February 13, 2024. A global currency reset. Rumor was that all monies for the global currency reset have been released and it was a green for go. 2s. 13th of February, Rod Steele, things are moving. It was supposed to have happened on Monday 12th of February. Judy note, liquidity did begin on Monday 12th of February according to Rubain Baz reporting on the Imperial Ancient Chinese Golden Dragon family which owned the gold backing the reset. Iran revalues same time as Iraq. The Iranian militia have not agreed to the revalue and they keep bombing the U.S. bases in Iraq. We got into a pushing match with higher-ups in the groups that now want more dollar, supposed to be good guys but they're still greedy. That set us back at 48 hours, they really want this started by February 15th. Admirals Group started in Reno on February 4th. The larger humanitarian groups, up to 3 million in size, are going first. There's roughly 12 million currency holders worldwide, some whales in Spain and South America and other countries are under NDAs already. The CBI has sent the new rates to the Iraqi government. Med beds are to be available right after the RV, 50,000 just in the U.S. in 8,200 locations cross-country. Beds have been in existence since the 50s. New quantum system only recognizes gold-backed notes, out since January 25th. Restitution payments should begin right after the RV, take everything you have to RV. Over 10,000 RV centers in U.S., something good could happen tonight. 2s. 13th of February. 2s. 13th of February, Mark Z. Right now there is a lot of pressure to not share any group details and bond details. It appears to be at that level of close. I agree that details should be avoided now to keep folks off the roller coaster, but things remain overwhelmingly positive. We are hearing more and more bank stories and militiamen knocked it out of the park recently. We got another bank story overnight from a wealth manager who is reaching out to clients saying it is time get everything prepared. He means to get currency together and make certain they have IDs updated if needed. He says they are at any moment now. To me this is really encouraging as a lot of these stories are from bank personnel who used to say, "It's a scam, don't do it" when asked about buy foreign currency. Now they are telling me you were right all along and get prepared. Just remember we will not know the exact timing or the when until it actually happens. But they are now openly preparing many of their clients. We are hearing more and more repeat stories about this, but we are being leaned on hard to not share details right now. 2s. February 13, 2024 Bruce, as reported by Sue, The Big Call, their #1 Iraqi contact in the U.S. received a text on 2s. 13th of February with a picture of a thumbs up for Wednesday 14th of February.